here near Las Vegas, Nevada. It is the Silverstate 300. It's through the mountains. The elevation is high. There's a lot of trees. It's one line. You got to be careful because one mistake could end your day. Also, we're in Las Vegas. You know what that means? Roll the dice, double down. Well, in the spirit of that, this important event is double points. It's a very pivotal point in the season, and whoever wins this one could very well be on their way to a championship. But before we talk about winning, we got to think about finishing. It's survival and often a war of attrition. Hold on, Best in the Desert starts now. Welcome to the scenic and rocky surroundings of Alamo, Nevada. We're about 100 miles from Las Vegas, getting set for the General Tire Best in the Desert Series presented to you by Lucas Oil. Jack Rapelle here with motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston as the drivers suit up and we get set for what will be a fight to the finish.
Yeah, great to be here. Taking a look at this track here, you can see pretty grueling. It's going to change quite a lot. These guys change elevation, so you go from rocky surfaces, a little bit more of a rally sort of course as you get some of the info here.
Just a tick over 300 miles, 305 miles. Last year, Justin Matney won this race with a time of 5 hours and 14 minutes. We'll see if anybody can better that here this year. Now, taking a look at our course, one word that has been reverberated by these drivers is patience. You need to take your time up through the mountains because this course becomes very single line, and this parched desert will put off some blinding dust.
Yeah, that's going to definitely affect the drivers. So qualifying, very important at a race like this. You want to get out, get clear track. There's the finish line. One big lap.
Course opens up towards the end. We were able to talk to some of the drivers about what is the key to victory here on this course.
This course is kind of tough. It's actually a really fun course, but it's really hard to pass on. So
patience is 100% key for this race. A lot of guys go out and they try to just pressure. If you maintain track position, the last 150 miles are really open. You can push hard.
On fast graded roads going 130, so this course has a lot to offer. And
I think the key is just you can't have any problems, can't have any flats, can't have anything. It's just going to come down to a flawless race. And
you know what, the buggy is a lot more nimble, and a course like this that we can still overall on a buggy. I think this race, once we get up in the trees, I think we're going to start making some time on it.
Who will avoid the big mistake? As we mentioned, starting out in front and getting away from that dust is so important. That's determined by qualifying. Brett Serapis leads things. They qualified over in Primm, Nevada, right on the California border. It was about a 4-minute qualifier. James Dean took the second spot. Justin Lofton, keep an eye on him. He's one of the hottest drivers on tour, coming off his win in the Mint 400. We'll give you the whole rundown here. Grant, it is a stacked field that we're getting ready to watch.
Oh, it sure is. And one thing to keep an eye on is there's not a lot of difference in time there between the buggies and the trick track, so this could be quite interesting.
The biggest advantage of starting out front is getting away from the blinding dust, taking advantage of clear visibility. Brett Serapis in the Coors Light truck is the man who gets that benefit. We asked him about his stellar qualifying position and how he was able to take the #1 spot earlier on.
qualifying went great. We were able to put down a clean lap, take it easy. We have 4-wheel drive, so we don't have to push as hard as some of the 2-wheel drive guys. We just hit our marks, drove as fast as we could, just railed through all the corners, and we ended up getting pulled by 3 to 4 seconds, so it couldn't have gone any better.
Just like that, we're off. Brett Serapis on the gas here. He competes in the Trick Truck 1400 category. Let's go on board with him. Many different categories competing out here today. Keep an eye on the buggy class because these competitors have said they may have an advantage here through the tight stuff. We talked to James Dean. He was your #1 qualifier in 1500.
Yeah, we had qualifying out behind Buffalo Bills out in Prim. We had a real good qualifying run. We were the first buggy. Very happy with that, keeping the buggies alive up front, and we're hoping to have a good day here. So just going to try to keep a good pace, follow Christian. Plan is not to pull over.
Don't pull over. 305 miles. Avoid the mistakes and hope those parts hold up.
Well, you can already see just one driver ahead of him, the dust cloud, so at least he knows he's going in the right direction. And this is an interesting story right here, Jack.
Oh, it sure is. Justin Lofton has been hot coming off his win at the Mint 400, but look whose truck he's in. This machine belongs to Jeff Turzo. Justin Lofton's truck was not ready in time. Jeff said, here you go. You're in the points hunt. This is double points. You need to be here. Use my truck.
Yeah, a really nice gesture there. So working out well now. It says Turzo as the truck, but Lofton probably very thankful to have that reaching hand. You can see right now this part of the track just fast, wide open. Good for these trick trucks. Jason Voss, fourth off the line.
Voss has had a lot of success here. He is the 2017 class champion, 5-time champion overall. He's also had his share of misfortune here. He burnt a truck to the ground back in 2009. And it's been a strange run for Voss, who's used to so much success, because as of late, he's had a lot of trouble dialing this truck in. Has had a few breakdowns.
Yeah, there's just certain events that some drivers seem to do well at, or just the gremlins come out of nowhere. Fifth off the line, Ray Griffith. Another strong performance from the buggy class.
Ray was having some fun before the race. We talked to him, and he was talking a little trash. He said, I'm here to beat everybody. I don't care if it's a trick truck, 6100. We're getting out there, we're making passes, and we are finishing first overall. He's calling his shot.
Oh, well, he's come straight out of the gate really quick. You hear that buggy just pin through there. Lovely onboard shot here.
Yeah, you can see how important the job of the co-driver is. They are just as busy as the driver. They're setting up pit stops, they're watching for obstacles, communicating with other teams. There's a lot of work to be done as CJ Hutchins blasts off. This is another one of the top competitors in the buggy category.
Yeah, just from down the road, Henderson, Nevada. You know he wants to win this one. A former winner as well. Decent qualifying. Sure, he feels pretty confident. And already the dust starts to build up. They throw a little water down when they come right off the starting line. But once you get out there, you can see, follow that trail.
Like Lofton, Hutchins has found success here, like you said, Grant, but he's also had his share of misfortune here. He hit a hole last year and was unable to finish. Hopefully that's not the case for him. We are just getting started here as the Best in the Desert Series rolls on.
The General Tire Best in the Desert Series is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Welcome back to Alamo, Nevada. The General Tire Silverstate 300 presented by Lucas Oil is heating up. This unforgiving track is showing us some great racing already.
Well, you could see already how much this course has changed from the opening segment, fast, wide open, and yeah, very tight, very technical, about 80 miles into this course. See, follow the arrow there. Very tight. You can see these trucks, no room for error. You get a little offline, and the consequences here are, well, you're more than likely not going to be able to finish, and you see road crossings as well. So this is also another thing you got to factor in. Every now and then you'll see drivers getting held up.
We talk so much about how luck comes into play here. How about just the luck? Wow. Uh-oh.
Something's going on. Brett just pulled over.
Is it a mechanical issue, or have they perhaps lost their way? In the meantime, James Dean, who started second, is making up a lot of time in his buggy. Look at that suspension working through the tight single-track dusty stuff. That's where the buggies will have the advantage. But here we come up on this road crossing. How frustrating must it be for these competitors to go from full throttle to have to wait patiently?
Well, you've just been accelerating, trying to make up every tenth of a second you can here and there, and then something like this can hurt you. And there you see Zarapa's now getting going. So even more frustrating for Dean, who can see the leader in front of him now going, and now getting caught.
Yeah, here comes Lofton in the U-Theory truck. thank you very much to our Best in the Desert workers for keeping everybody safe out there. It's going to make for some real bumper-to-bumper racing. We'll see who can stretch out a lead. And look at the blinding dust. We talked about how visibility would be an issue.
Well, it also just shows you how much time he has made up on the leader. There you see the leader coming in. We should be able to get a shot of Dean coming in.
Oh my! What? Who was that? Was that Dean?
Yeah, it looked like he just buried the front end of that buggy. He was really close to the leader.
Whoa, Justin Lofton offline now. Clearly these competitors are having problems seeing the track.
Or maybe just checking to make sure that Dean is okay. See that buggy off there? Coming into that corner, you just saw a big cloud of dust, and, well, he's not pulled over to have a picnic at the picnic tables, that's for sure.
It's certainly not the afternoon lunch he was hoping for. Let's take another look. You can't see much. Oh, my. Dean gets into the thick stuff. Looks like he hit a big pile of sand and rocks. Oh, no. That could put him out for the day.
It certainly looks that way. Look at that wheel. I don't think they're going to be able to repair that. But I wonder if he wasn't just lack of vision. You saw how dusty it was. He came down, and before that left-hander, it bent a little to the right. You see that? There's a little chicane to the right and then the left. And I think he just maybe lost his way, or maybe a little frustration from being held up at that crossing.
This is why the drivers stressed patience. We are just getting started here. If you're too aggressive, if you're too gung-ho, if you don't show restraint, you can put yourself out.
As we look at Voss coming through there, you can see just a little bit of dust, but he's not too close to the drivers in front of him where it's impeding his vision. You can just hear him working that throttle.
Long day. The sweet sounds of the throttle here in the trick truck category. Pretty much an unlimited class. Run what you brung, hope that you brung enough. In all of these vehicles, you're talking about more than 30 inches of suspension travel. As CJ Hutchins is putting together a good ride, looking to put the issues and the gremlins that he had last year behind him. We talked to CJ, and he said that he's very excited for a chance at redemption here at the Silverstate.
Yeah, last year Silverstate 300 was a tough race for us. We qualified really well. I believe we were the first in our class, and we pretty much led our class all day until race mile 238, where we hit a big G out and it took us out of the event. We actually flew my navigator out in a helicopter last year, so that was not what we wanted to do. So we're looking for some redemption this year, and we're ready to go. These new General Tire X3s are awesome. They hook up so good on these roads. I'm really excited to see what we can do today.
How about the toughness and the resiliency of CJ Hutchins? After an experience like that, all he wants to do is come back and show that he can do better.
Yeah, anytime you leave a place under those sort of circumstances, his co-driver actually had a broken back. I'm sure he felt terrible about that, but, you know, it's racing, and the one good thing about racing, you have a chance to come back and redeem yourself.
A lot of action going on behind our leaders. Here's Tony Smiley, who's making up a lot of time. Remember, based on the staggered start, the first vehicle across the line at the end may not necessarily be our winner. It is all about elapsed time. And with the road crossings and the limited visibility, it's going to be tough to beat that 5-hour and 14-minute mark that we saw Matney put up last year.
What's showing Griffith now in the second place in the buggy. Co-driver, see, mistake there. See, it's so tight, these corners, if you don't get the pitch of the car correct, and you get on the brakes, you lock it up, little understeer. You saw him do that there. Fortunately, look at that little drop-off there. That could have been disastrous.
You know, the conditions out here are so unpredictable. That's one thing I really admire about this form of racing, the courage it takes, how unpredictable it is. Normally on a race course, we see maintenance vehicles out there prepping it, making sure it's pristine and perfect. Not here. You never know what's going to be out there in 300 miles of rocky, cruel desert terrain.
Little onboard here from Robert Johnson. See the concentration. Well, he's chosen to go for that tinted visor. Obviously, you can see sunny and glary. Oh, we're going to have a pass here.
Wow.
Holly Littner. That's the battle for 6th and 7th. That looked like a nice gesture, letting them by.
Sure did, and sometimes we see that. If a competitor knows that one of his fellow racers behind him is putting together much quicker times, he will pull off so he doesn't hold up that competitor, but that's not always what we see. And you can bet as we continue to creep up to the leaders, things will get competitive and thrilling. Stay with us. The Best in the Desert series rolls on. Jack Rapella and Grant Langston here with you. We've already seen some competitors out for the day, like James Dean. Let's catch up with him and see what happened.
We got first in class, second overall. Followed Brett Serapis, had a real good pace going. So there was a tight left at the bottom. Serapis was on the inside. I knew he had a tight left, so I started setting up, and turns out he must have blown the 45 that we blowed, and we had a big pile of rocks, but took off our front arm, unfortunately, and man, it really sucks. It took us out of the race. We had a real good day. I think we definitely had a chance if we could have kept it together of at least a first in class, or even a top 5 overall. So really bummed, but we'll be out the next one.
Watching that replay, Grant, I'm reminded of an old motocross saying where some of the mechanics are like, hey, don't follow. And unfortunately there, James Dean followed Mr. Serapis, who got through it, but Dean didn't.
Yeah, those things happen. Now we're looking at our class leader in the 6100, Jorgensen.
Terry Householder, the 2018 champion here in the 6100 category. 6100 category features spec motors. Other than that, you can do a lot to these race vehicles, but the nice thing about the spec motor is it keeps the cost down. It keeps it from getting too out of control for a lot of these racers.
Well, we see Ryan Hancock second at the moment, and that's also because Brock Hager, who was out front early, had an issue around mile marker 20, we believe, hitting a rock, so that was his day.
One of the stars from the Lucas Oil Off-Road Short Course Series. Let's see if his skills transfer over.
Yes and no. It's kind of a whole different scene. You know, it doesn't really relate. It doesn't match up or anything, because desert, it's about, you know, trying to make it to the finish line. You got to click off miles and still go fast, and, you know, have a truck stay together. So it's good, you know, when, you know, short course stuff, you're always pushing. So when I go to the desert races and I really need to push, I have the ability to do it. So I think it's cool, and, you know, it's kind of challenging. I have to try to find the happy medium of fast but conservative, and I think that's why I like it. It's a challenge.
A true competitor who's passionate about racing. He finally gets a weekend off from short course, and he's out here in the desert. A rough start for Brock. He's already hit a rock. That's why he's behind some lap traffic. Look at the dust. It looks like somebody not too far ahead. Whoa, watch out, Brock.
Oh, and that's what happens when you get buried in the pack. Obviously, one of the faster drivers out there, looked like whoever that was in the buggy, had to throw it in reverse. We've seen that a few times. So tight, so easy to overdrive these vehicles into these tight corners.
As we get a look at David Clayman, but that accentuates our point on how tough it is to see. Brock is used to banging bumpers out there in the short course series, and clearly he couldn't see the buggy in front of him, or he wouldn't have slammed into it.
No, he couldn't, and that was not the kind of rubbing of fenders you want to do. As you look at the top of the screen there, scrolling across current running order, Jerry Hurlings, good start for him as well, California man.
It will be a fight to the finish and a test of the equipment, who can fight off the attrition and keep their machine healthy to the end. Brad Lovell now 4th place on track.
Another driver with a lot of short course experience coming out here in the big wide open desert. Travis Chase still going strong. That's what he wanted.
Chase does a lot of training in the Barstow, California area, currently running 5th place in the 6100 category. Really excited for the double points that are at stake this weekend, hoping that he can come out of here with a solid finish.
Oh yeah, now we see Connor McMullen in the 1000 class. I love the sound of these things. They're often just screaming.
They are so cool, and we're starting to hit the point on track where you're going to see an advantage for the smaller vehicles as this starts to go up in elevation and becomes more and more single line. Look at how tight that is.
Yeah, very tight. You see these trucks at times really just, oh yeah, had to check up there. And that's what you hear the drivers talking about. It's so easy to want to just hit some of these blind crests and corners hard, but so easy to run off track.
That will really test your endurance, your skill, your aptitude. You're trying to reach the finish line as quickly as you can, but one simple mistake, if you come into one of these corners too hot, if you go over one of these berms, if you hit a tree or get caught up in the brush, you could be done for the day. We've already seen quite a few that are not going to finish here.
Well, that's the thing with these races. They toughen the drivers mentally, toughen the vehicle.
And look at the suspension working. Oh, no! Maybe.
Oh, nice save there.
I hope I didn't jinx him. It was working maybe a little bit too hard. Well, here's Justin Lofton continuing his hot streak out there in the Jeff Terzo U-Theory truck. A flawless day for Lofton so far. Can he keep it up? We'll find out when we return.
The General Tire Best in the Desert Series is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by K&N. Superior airflow, superior performance.
This vicious and wicked Best in the Desert race from Alamo, Nevada rolls on. Jack Rapella, Grant Langston here with you. Grant, in the words of Queen, another one has bit the dust here, unfortunately. We'll give you an update on that in a second, but first let's let you know where we're at. We're coming up on the about 165-mile mark. We are more than halfway, and we have just got word that Brett Serapis, who started first in the Coors Light truck, is out of here. He is done for the day.
Unfortunate for him. It sounds like something mechanical, but this has opened the door for Justin Lofton. What a dream race this is turning out to be. Wasn't sure if he could make it. Gets a call up, gets a truck. Now he gets the lead.
Lofton is closely pursued by Jason Voss. Said Voss has had a lot of success here. This is going to be a true battle to the finish. These high horsepower, 900 horsepower trucks will battle it out. This course does open up a little bit towards the end, and that's where we'll start to see some of those big 130-mile-an-hour speeds through the desert.
Yeah, that great shot here from the helicopter showing you just the variance on this track. CJ Hutchins having a good ride, third overall.
Yeah, luck really turned around from CJ Hutchins after a DNF last year. I hate even throwing out those dreaded letters because I say DNF, I tend to jinx people here. Let's hope CJ can keep it trouble-free. You can see he's got all the equipment that he may need to fix a problem. If you run into mechanical issues out here in the middle of the desert, if it's something that you can repair, you've got to do it on site. That's why the co-driver is so important. That's why the tools and the tires that you bring with you on your vehicle are vital.
Yeah, at the moment, third on track, but of course leading his class. Now behind him, Tony Smiley. He's moved up to fourth, so a lot of drivers now may or may not know that they've inherited a position, so solidly in the top five.
Many racers told me this is a part of the track they really enjoy. This is one of the most scenic, picturesque stops on tour. Justin Lofton told me, hey, if you don't think that I can see the beautiful surroundings at 130, think again. I'm enjoying it. I'm racing, but I also see how wonderful it is out there.
Yeah, I don't think people really realize just how beautiful this part of Nevada is. Everyone thinks it's desert, but you can see when they get at the high elevation trees, it's green. And look at that truck just bouncing across the road there. You can see it's handling well. On the brakes hard. This turn could really sneak up on the drivers.
You can see the two tires on board, the jack. They even carry drive shafts with them, anything they may have to change. As we go on board with Robert Johnson as his co-driver, carefully pays attention to the obstacles ahead. I think more than ever, too, at a racetrack like this where visibility is so limited, you really rely on your co-driver.
Oh, absolutely. Robert Johnson, that Chattanooga whiskey sponsorship. Maybe he'll be winning one of those when this race is done. He would have earned that. Solidly keeping it in the top 10. Chopper really showing us it's so scenic out here. This is that part of the track where it's in between. It's the guys want to get their foot to the ground, but still some tight turns. You've got to be on your toes.
Joe David's having a great day. Second on track right now in the buggy category. See if he can keep it up.
Yeah, that's a nice improvement from where he started off, so making some good progress.
Let's go on board now with Lad Gilbert. He is third in the buggy category. Looks like vision getting a little bit better for him, but you can still see that dust trail. This parched and dry desert is gonna put out some limited visibility and some dust clouds for miles. Whoa, look at that kicker, getting some air.
That was a lot of air, and he knows how to get around this racetrack. The winner here last year and not afraid to push his equipment to the test there. That was a pretty big jump, maybe a little further than even he would have anticipated.
How do you think racers prepare for that? Going as fast as they can, but also knowing there may be a hidden kicker right around the next corner.
You know, and that's the risk with these events. Having past knowledge can help you, of course, but it can also hurt you if you forgot or didn't realize that something had developed differently from last year to this year. It can actually catch you off guard.
The sweet sounds of the throttle. You wonder how these engines are able to make it from start to finish. I know Lucas Oil keeping a lot of them alive. They depend on all the parts, depend on that air filtration system and having a good air cleaner to get you through. Can you imagine how dirty the air cleaners are after this?
They are better. A lot of times they'll put an extra cover over the filters just because of all that fine dust. Can get through air filters sometimes, and then obviously can do damage to the motor. Oh, little over drove that. Little tight chicane there.
And that's the mistake we were talking about. Very fortunate for that competitor that he was able to get it back on track. If you got into the brush and got a flat tire, you could certainly impact your day. Another road crossing here.
Well, how nice was that? The semi-truck driver saw them racing alongside and figured, I'll stop this time and let them carry on.
Well, I'm sure the racer greatly appreciates that.
Oh, now you can see this. Justin Matney, 12th on track, and this is near the front still, but you can see just still the elements you're dealing with and the traffic. He started 29th, so really, whoa, there's the chrome horn. That's a nice way of saying, hey man, get out of my way. I am faster than you, and just that, he is through.
I think the co-driver told him, get out of our way. Matney started in the back, but is making a great move. He knows how to get it done here. He's your defending event champion. He is also the defending class champion in the 1400 trick truck category. Going on board now with Sam Berry. He has a much clearer view.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
But he is off line. Someone that is in the points battle, and he looks like he is... Oh, I think he's found some spectators. Maybe gonna go ask for some assistance.
This can't be good. Yes, there's motorcycles involved in this event too. What happened to Sam? We'll find out when we return. If you ever want to know how to destroy a high-performance race vehicle, we've got a pretty good example going on right now. Welcome back, everybody, to the Best in the Desert Series. Jack Rapella, Grant Langston here with you. Kyle Jurgensen having a great run in the 6100 category.
Yeah, normally in the trick truck class, but hadn't had much luck there. So switching it up, and now 12-minute lead. Things must be going a lot better in this 6100 category.
The dust is immense. It's getting harder and harder to see. Several competitors are already out for the day as we continue to sprint to the finish. 305 miles. That's how far these competitors hope to make it. Let's take you inside now with Adam Ray Lunn. Can you imagine being behind the wheel for 5 hours and 20 minutes? Much more for some of these competitors.
Well, exactly, and Lunn running in third place, a strong drive for him, but it's not just the time behind the wheel, it's the fact that you can never have a lapse of concentration. These guys are focused the whole time, so as much as it's hard on the truck, it's hard on the body, it's very tough mentally.
There's nowhere to let up. One mistake will end your day and put you out. So far, Travis Chase has been able to avoid the big mistake. Big thanks to his co-driver, who these racers depend on heavily. That is your second set of eyes, watching for obstacles, debris, other competitors.
Funny to see different drivers choosing to drive with different visors. We've seen orange, clear, smoked, tinted, you name it.
Everybody's got their preference.
Absolutely.
You need to be comfortable in there. Here's a gentleman who's comfortable, Brock Hager from short course racing, doing a great job, has overcome some early race issues after hitting a rock and a buggy. Looks like he is back up to speed.
And that's just what we've seen. I'm sure there's a little more to the story, but this is when it's tough. You're coming up on drivers. It's easy to get a little over enthusiastic, but I'm sure if the drivers see him coming up quick, they'll let him by. And we even have some Canadian drivers down.
Truly an international sport. Wonder what our Canadian driver thinks of this very challenging Alamo, Nevada course as we start to head up towards the graded roads. These can really take trucks out because there's not much grip out there. But Justin Lofton has been able to overcome, again, riding Jeff Turzo's truck here this weekend, trying to stay up in the points series at this double points event. Oh, no.
Oh.
Don't tell me, Grant.
That looks like the day's over. Jason Voss was running second, and, well, helmet's coming off. That's obviously terminal.
Demoralizing for the 5-time champion. It has been a rough season for Jason Voss trying to work the issues out of that brand new truck. And for this event, Voss was performing so well. Heart goes out to him. CJ Hutchins trying to overcome his DNF last year. Looks like all is well. You can see the co-driver of Ray Griffith's machine trying to direct him. The report we're getting is this team was able to overcome a stuck throttle. Now they're back on the pace.
Yeah, apparently it was a broken spring in the throttle body. They were able to get it changed really quickly at their last pit stop, so it didn't really, I don't believe, really lost any ground, and if so, it was very minimal, still holding on to that podium.
You got to have nerves of steel and a whole lot of intestinal fortitude. Could you imagine being out there with a stuck throttle and some of this technical tight stuff along those cliffs?
No, I cannot, but check this out. The number 70 truck, Harley Letner and Kevin Thompson, they actually did a driver swap at the last stop there. So Thompson behind the wheel now.
Interesting strategy for these teams, too. A lot of teams like to keep the driver fresh by making a change. Some of them want to keep consistency. Whoa, as Justin Matney looks like he's going to come in for a pit stop here. This is late in the race for a pit. I know that he's followed closely.
That looked like a quick splash and go there. Probably just a little low on fuel.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, this is not good. Side by side through the pit lane.
We're about 80 miles to the finish. Our conclusion as we return.
The General Tire Best in the Desert Series is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Polaris. Fuel your freedom. And by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world.
The exhausting and punishing Silverstate 300 presented by Lucas Oil Products is coming to a finish. Keep an eye on Justin Lofton. He's been able to avoid the big mistake. He won this race 4 years in a row in the buggy category, and he gets first to the line here in the trick truck class.
Well, this is that moment where you know you've done everything you can. Deep down, he's probably confident that he's got the win, but it's not official until the other drivers come through and clock their times in.
And what a relief as we get a look at Andrew Whitehead out there with his wife, Danielle Whitehead, his co-driver. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary. What a better way to do it for a couple very passionate about motorsports. I know a man who's passionate about his performance, and that's Justin Lofton. Let's go down and hear from him.
It was a typical Silverstate race. Dust definitely played the factor, and that's how we got around James. He got a little excited trying to catch Brett, and ended up breaking the left front off his car. And not quite sure what happened to Brett, but that gave the lead to us and clean air. And then my good buddy Jason started pushing us through pit 3, and it was a race till 2:35 when I guess his motor blew. And it's unfortunate. I wish we were here at the finish line together. It would have been a lot of fun because we had a great race going. But big thank you to U Theory for asking me to drive this truck, and Tisco Racing and this Baja Designs light up here, because I think that's what pushed James Dean into pushing too hard and helping a position out. So thank you to BF Goodrich Tires, Fox Factory, everyone that works on this team, and big happy to be back racing with John Vance. It was cool, and we have long history together, and hope they invite me back.
An astute and clever race by Lofton. It has been the same for CJ Hutchins. Great redemption ride after his DNF last year. Looks like he will be the second vehicle across the line. CJ started high, he finishes high. What a great performance.
Yep, most likely got the overall win in his class. As we see battle for 13th, Bowers, Baldy. Trying to make it too wide in a tight section.
Yeah, it's like a short course race here towards the end. Who will get there first? Not much room to pass. Let's go hear from CJ.
Yeah, it's awesome. Being physically the second car in is great. Justin had a great drive. They kind of pulled away from me a little early on, and there was no way I was catching them. But we just had a nice smooth run coming in. It's awesome trying to battle with the trucks at these smoother races. These are the only races we have a chance at an overall. It's really Silverstate and Vegas to Reno, in my opinion. So we tried to push early, and they kind of gapped us. And then I kind of just said, all right, we're going to let the trucks go and focus on winning our class. And that's what we did. It sounds like Voss had a problem there in the end. So we ended up second here physically, first in class.
Big shout out to the co-driver, too, who broke his back last year. He was so pumped. The co-driver says he's going to shave the beard and the mustache if CJ wins this thing.
Oh, that's cool. Kevin Thompson, after they switched, little driver change, he'll be third across the line. They come to that finish line pretty quick, and then on the binders to get stopped.
A little bit of water there that the truck threw down for timing and scoring so they don't get blinded by the dust. That's the only water you're going to see out in this parched desert.
Justin Bean Smith, tough day at the office for him, but still solid top 10. He will get across the line.
How about the veteran Steve Olagish having a great performance? He got hung up at a road crossing, but has made a lot of time up. Fourth vehicle across the line. Great performance. Kevin Thompson was the third vehicle across the line, and I know he's happy with his performance. Let's go down and talk to him.
Yeah, it does, especially after today. Harley handed it off to me in pit 5, and about 2:30 or so, we started losing our brakes. We were muttering. I didn't pre-run this. It was the first time on this course, didn't pre-run, so I was just driving my race. I didn't want to do anything dumb, didn't want to hurt the truck, not getting flats. I ended up with one flat. 2:30 again, started losing the brakes. I didn't know where to isolate the front and rear, what to do, so we lost some time there, but it was cool. It was first time here. This course was really fun, really fast, really technical, and that's my kind of stuff. So hopefully we finish P2. I'm sure some guys in the back are coming up, but for points, that'd be good for us. We really want this championship, and we really wanted to win, but hey, is what it is.
Tremendous display of patience, fortitude, and ability. Tony Smalley, he was running fourth, but lost some time due to a broken brake system, trying to salvage his day. Hey, in my opinion, if you finish, you did your job, and Steve Olagish knows that better than anybody. Let's go down and talk to Steve.
This was the last race I won years ago. It's always been kind of a fondness for me coming out here, and Dustin, my co-driver, just kept me straight the whole time, and I couldn't have done it without him and the whole crew. Just awesome deal. We got held up at a road crossing for, we're going to look at the thing, but it was close to almost 3 minutes, and I don't know what that's going to do. And I said, look, I don't expect it all back, but, maybe can I have a minute and a half back? So I don't know where that's going to put me, but and we all get the cards that were dealt with, but I don't know. They may have to figure that one out a little bit. I don't know if I was the only guy or not, but one of the guys pitted that was right behind me and he was in the pits for whatever, it takes a minute and a half, and there he was right behind me again. And I'm still at the road crossing. I haven't left. So it was tough.
What's tough is having to wait for your official finish order. We got our calculator out, pencils, paper. It can be tough to calculate all that, Grant.
Oh, absolutely. And you can hear a little frustration in his voice here, and you get it. You're pushing, you're trying to find every second you can. And some of these crossings, just wrong place, wrong time, can really hold you up. Robert Johnson now coming across the line all the way from Tennessee. Long trip for these guys.
Co-driver wisely saying, don't let up. Keep that hammer down. We need every second we can possibly get. Here comes Ladd Gilbert. It's been a flawless day for him in the buggy category. Looks like he'll be the second buggy across the line.
And he didn't let off before the finish line. So looks like he will more than likely be on the podium in his class.
Bob Lofton, Justin's father, also with a great performance. We'll continue to finish. Exciting conclusion when we return. Welcome back to Alamo, Nevada. It's been a laborious and exhausting day, but now the euphoria of the finish. 6100s coming in. We already have 3 in the buggy category. Let's go down and talk to Ladd Gilbert, who was second across.
Yeah, that's a good day. We knew we had some work to do. We knew we had to be able to stay in the car and keep driving, and we were able to do that. No flats, didn't get out once. able to get some clean air, and then moved when we could, slowed down when we shouldn't, and we made it. We made it. A great race. Hopefully our second holds up. We're second across the line, but we don't know what's exactly behind us, but we're hopeful.
The waiting game. We'll have official results soon, though. Ray Griffith, he was the third buggy across the line. Not quite what he wanted, but still an impressive performance.
We were second buggy to start. We had everybody by pit 2. We had everybody covered on, all the other Class 1s covered on time by 45 seconds to a minute on corrected times. We were right there on the overall pace with the trucks. And then right after pit 2, we had a throttle body spring break, and the throttle started sticking real bad. We tried to drive it as fast as we could to pit 3, but ended up burning up the brakes before we got there just because the throttle was stuck so bad. Almost threw it off a couple cliffs trying to do that. We got out, did some field repairs, tried to salvage what we could, and we're here. We're here, not where we wanted to be, but we definitely had a car at the beginning.
Well, congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to Kyle Jurgensen, who we now know is our winner in the 6100 spec class.
It was a clean run, and that's usually what it takes to win. The number 1 qualifier, Brock, hit a rock right off the bat, and we got the lead and never looked back. And we're thinking somewhere around 10 to 12 minutes on corrected time. So it was a flawless day. Fragile, our car hasn't seen the finish line in over 3 years, just little problems that kept taking us out. And here we are, finally got a finish, and looks like it might be a win.
Must be so fulfilling after suffering those problems. Ryan Hancock was second across the line in the 6100 category. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah, you know what? We started out fourth off the line, and we just had a clean day, really all day. Kind of tried to stay out of the dust. We got mixed up with the Class 1 for, 30 miles or so. That probably held us up a little bit, but we finished third, and so we'll take it. It's a podium.
The sheer joy of being on the box. Adam Ray Lund, third vehicle to finish as he tries to keep his championship hopes alive.
So we came out here on a mission today to charge this truck up to the front. A podium was our goal. About halfway, we were clicking them off, got to, I think, third physically on the track, and then I knew, at least have a shot at it. So we pushed really hard coming in like the last 100, just couldn't get it done, too much dust from the trucks. But to go from 8th to 2nd, we're just stoked on that. We're really close right now to the points lead. We were 2nd in Parker, 2nd here. Our first one's coming. We're so close, we can taste it. But Max, my co-pilot, killed it today. We didn't have one error, not one flat. This Armada truck, not one mechanical, and it was fun. We were on it all day, taking chances. It was a good racing.
They say you win championships on your worst day. Great performance there by Adam Ray Lund to salvage a podium. Let's look at our overall results. Justin Lofton finishes first, 5 hours and 15 minutes. What a tremendous race by him.
Yeah, good job by all these competitors. Hutchins winning in his class, as well as looking outside the top 10. And big congrats to McMullen in the 1,000 class, finishing 14th overall, but still first in his division.
And we've got a series shakeup. Remember, this event double points, so let's have a little fun here, Grant. Let's look at points before and after. This was entering the event in the 1400 category. Brett Serapis in the Coors Light truck was your leader. We know that he did not finish. Keep an eye on Jeff Terzo, thanks to that performance out there by Justin Lofton. He is your new leader with a 13-point lead over Steve Oligas.
Yeah, so Terzo getting the points there. Lucky to have Lofton. So the points go to the truck, not necessarily the driver, how they enter it. We look at the 1500 class and keep an eye on Hutchins, who's sitting there in third. You'll see what today's performance does for him. It was pretty close between the top 3. And now, here's your new points leader.
The power of a double points event. You do well here, you find yourself on top. That's the case for CJ Hudson's, and a great bounce back performance from him after not finishing last year. Now, this is the point in the season where you can really hit your stride and go for it. Adam Ray Lund, who we talked to moments ago, he came in with the points lead. You heard from him. He said his day didn't go according to plan, but still salvages a decent finish. Because of that, he will maintain his second spot. But congratulations to Brock Hager. You want to talk about someone who overcame some adversity by a mere 5 points. Brock takes over the lead, and this sets up what should be a thrilling championship battle down the stretch. It was so much fun. We told you it would be crazy. We told you it would be wild. What a test of survival through the desert here in Alamo, Nevada. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Lucas Oil. For Grant Langston, I'm Jack Rapella. We'll see you next time as the Best in the Desert series returns.